Well, greetings all. Let's talk turkey this morning about passive solar. Yeah, I'm going to get aggressive about turkeys here. This is a passive-aggressive talk. Oh, boy. Yeah, I had done a video asking how your pet's doing on New Year's, with all the explosions and fireworks and stuff around. And Gracie was having her difficulties. The explosions were panicking the poor girl. Anyhow, I was speaking with my friend and webmaster on the channel in Fremont, California, Hugh, and Hugh had mentioned, well, where he lives up Niles Canyon, every time the firecrackers went off, the turkeys went off. Up and down the canyon. He's got them. Boy, the turkeys in there. I used to travel up and down that canyon almost every day, and it's full of turkeys. But, that's the thing about turkeys. Turkey is kind of an archetype, isn't it, for us, right? It's like you don't have to be a feathered bird weighing 20 pounds to be a turkey. You can be a human being and still be a turkey. Isn't it correct? Yeah. We have this concept of what does turkey mean. Hey, you turkey, Yeah, it's something that's kind of dumb, usually convinced into doing a lot of things that they probably shouldn't have done, Turkeys are a good spot for scammers, right? Yeah. Find yourself a turkey, you can, eat it for dinner too. Yeah, we got this thing about turkeys. I sure as heck do. My first experience with turkeys in life, of course, was like most Americans, across the Thanksgiving table. Wow, Mom, that's a big chicken. Oh, that's not a chicken, Bill, that's a turkey. Whoa, can I have a drumstick? Yeah, it's like that. But years later, just out of high school, and I think it was probably Mardi Gras starting to go on down there in New Orleans. I decided I had to check that out, so I stuck my thumb out and headed on down the road. And I was somewhere near Arkansas when I still remember the guy has a red flatbed truck. The guy picked me up, had a load of steel there. He was heading for the Gulf. A nice guy. Yeah, he really was. It was one of the better truckers I've ever run across. I still kind of remember him. Good attitude. Anyway, Arkansas is full of turkey farms. I'd never seen a turkey farm at that time. Well, we'd be going by these turkey farms, and this guy was going to impress the teenage hitchhiker. He'd cut loose on the air starter on his truck without engaging it, and it was type whiz noise like a siren, and them turkeys would go, they'd take off, they'd start running, because it'd be open pasture turkeys, see, down there in Arkansas. Oh, be lucky if there weren't corpses in the wakes. I mean, them things would just be running over each other, and they'd get turkey stampede. He'd start a turkey stampede. Yeah, you go, hey, watch this. Oh, whiz! Oh, Gracie's here. He just bumped my tripod on me, right? What's all that noise, Bill? What are them noises you making over there? That's strange noises. You don't usually do those. Yeah, turkey and starter motor noises are getting her attention here. Yeah, so anyway, that was my first experience with turkeys. They will stampede, and one follows the other. When I lived in northern Wisconsin, well, we had turkey farms all around there. Turkey farms were fairly common in Wisconsin, and the big white buzzards, and of course, they'd break loose. They'd get out of the turkey farms, and so they'd be wandering around the neighborhoods, and so that was my second experience when a bunch of guys from Chicago came up, and they were up there fishing one time, and they brought the girlfriends with, and the one girlfriend, it wasn't too darn bright, I guess, she caught herself a turkey that was on the range out wandering around, had gotten off the farm. These guys come on over to my house, and they knew me, and they said, Bill, take this turkey. She wants to take it back to Chicago to the apartment. She's going to feed it pizza and cannabis or something, man. Take this turkey, Oh, man, I don't want that turkey, but all right. Yeah, I'll take the turkey. So I took the turkey. Yeah, well, we called him Gobs. He lasted till Thanksgiving. This was midsummer sometime that he showed up. And he lived mostly on grasshoppers and stuff. I bought some corn, and I'd feed him some stuff. But He got fattened up, and come Thanksgiving, boy, I tell you, he was the best turkey I ever ate. But one thing led into another, and well, my ex, she loved birds, and so we had chickens, we had ducks, and eventually this turkey led into more turkeys, and she acquired the bronze broad-breasted, a dozen of these things. It's a turkey that looks almost exactly like the wild turkey. Colors are the same plumage and everything, except they are stockier built. They were bred for more meat production. I suppose they were probably one of the earlier forms of commercial turkey breeding. Anyway, they look like a wild bird, except they're heavier. And she had a dozen of them. Well, I started getting attitude towards them when, for some reason, one day she decided she was going to try to lift one of them up. And, darn thing, a big bird cut loose with a wing, smashed her glasses, cost me quite a bit of money replacing her glasses. I wasn't happy about turkeys at that point at all. And then, turkeys are gregarious. They belong in flocks. They group together all the time. When you see them in the wild, there's usually a group of at least 3 to a half dozen or more. I've run across flocks of turkeys while in the wood. If I was creeping through my Jeep really slow and quiet, sometimes we'd come up on a flock, be a dozen birds or more. Well, because of that habit, whenever I'd be out, say, in the yard in summer with my buddies hanging out in the driveway, drinking beer, telling fish stories, next thing you know, what happened? The turkeys come walking up. They want to hang out. I don't want to hang out with turkeys. No. Mm-mm. And so I used to give them a boot. Get out of here. Go away. They come back. Come on, give me a beer. Can we talk story? No, hang out with turkeys. Go away. Well, I had this great big old Wisconsin dairy barn. Yeah, it's a great big old barn. And the foundation walls of the barn had been made out of fieldstone. So there was, like 4 foot and 6 foot high stone walls around the edges of this barn holding up the wood. And the long side of the barn pointed due south. Well, we're up in northern Wisconsin, 85 miles south to Lake Superior. Very continental climate. Boy, oh boy. Growing season, 90 to 120 days, about all between frosts up there. Well, the stones on the wall of that barn pointing south, when winter would come to an end and spring would begin, that region right along the barn would be the place where the soil would thaw out first. Yeah, because the barn was pointing south, the north wind usually would be broke there, and so you wouldn't get these freezing winds. You wouldn't get the drifts from the snow in there. So the snow would melt off really fast in spring. Soil would get exposed. I had nice, dark, composted soil along that barn wall, and the rocks would heat up. And so then they'd reflect heat and re-radiate it over the night. And so that region along the barn wall was probably at least a good 30 days ahead of most of the rest of my garden as far as thawing out and being able to actually grow something right there. Microclimates, they're called. We all have them. Here in Hawaii, we worry more about whether it's a shady or a sunny microclimate, and not so much, or a dry or a wet microclimate, not so much whether it's cold or hot. But most of the mainland, your microclimates as to whether it's temperate or not where you're planting your stuff. So I noticed this happening over the years, and I said, well, that's a feature. That's passive solar. I like this. And I was working for a window manufacturer, and so I had pallets and pallets and pallets of defective window sash stacked up around the place. And so I decided there one spring in April, I'd take these windows and I'd lay them butt to butt all the way down the south side of the barn wall, tipped up against the barn wall on a 45-degree angle, and I'd create this big space underneath that was boxed in under glass and was rock right behind it to the north side. Well, I went over to my greenhouse and I got out a bag of cantaloupe seed and I planted myself a bunch of cantaloupe plants in the greenhouse. Well, once they got large enough, I went outside there. I picked up them storm windows and I put the cantaloupe plants in under the glass about roughly 30 days ahead of the frost-free season. Usually we were safe, right around the first week of June. But I was planting these in the first week of May, so I was a whole month out. Well, it turned out it worked beautiful. Yeah, those rocks behind the glass would heat up during the daytime, and then during the night they'd re-radiate the heat back into the space. So even if it was, 27, 28 degrees outside, it'd still be somewhere at least in the 40s underneath the glass. If it got real cold, I could go out there and take an old moving blanket or some burlap bags or something, drop it over the top of the windows for insulation. Anyhow, it was a gem. The cantaloupes grew like crazy. Eventually, spring actually came. I lifted the sash off and just let them sprawl. And I had this mass of cantaloupes all the way down south side of the barn. The old barn had old barn windows, and there was one of them that had been broken, was missing. I was at work one day, and I come home. I'm pulling up the driveway. It's an eighth of a mile long. Climb up the hill, heading towards the house there, and I look up, and over the top of my cantaloupe patch in the open window, what do I see? A turkey. Uh-oh. Turkey jumps, leaps into my cantaloupes, goes running through the cantaloupes, comes around front door of the barn, goes in the front door of the barn as another turkey shows up in the window and leaps into the cantaloupe patch. All 12 turkeys had been playing follow the leader most of the day, running through the barn, getting in the window, jumping in the cantaloupes, and then running through the cantaloupes and shredding them. When I got up to have a look at my patch, what I had was, it looked like a pile of softballs embedded in a mass of green algae. Yeah, they had completely pulped the vines. These birds weigh over 20 pounds apiece. Oh, man. I was pretty angry. Well, I'm telling you, this was a fabulous passive solar experiment, right? It gave me cantaloupes easily a month ahead of my ordinary growing season with no moving parts, no extra energy at all. Beautiful, beautiful design. And it left me feeling extremely aggressive towards the turkeys that had destroyed my passive solar cantaloupes. So here we have a passive-aggressive situation between solar energy and turkeys. I don't like to use the word hate. That's pretty intense. And turkeys can't help being turkeys. Yeah, that's just what they are. And so me hating turkeys doesn't make much sense. But I'll tell you, I really don't like them much. The tryptophanes in the meat cause the indigestion for me. I don't digest turkey well. It's not my favorite food. They want to hang out with people. I don't like them. I think they're dumb, personally. And boy, after they ruined my cantaloupe patch and destroyed her glasses, man, never in my life have I ever been so passionate about harvesting a crop. Yeah, when I harvested those turkeys, I did it with a smile on my face. I loved every minute of it. So happy. Never let another turkey come on the farm again. That was it. No more turkeys ever. Yeah, so... yeah, nobody seems to understand why I get indigestion on Thanksgiving. The rest of you get it from too much stuffing and pumpkin pie. I get it from thinking about turkeys. Oh, man.